All right, let's get started. We're gonna knock out these ones we're secondary on first. The last one on the packet, 1441.
Yep, so that should be on your desk. I put a table of contents as well as a marked up reprint. It does a lot of things in terms of the policy of publicly funded pre-kindergarten programs, which are all listed there. Things like establishing a career ladder. It does alter the blueprint. Initially had some goals for the mixed delivery of pre-kindergarten between private providers and public providers. That goal is being shifted a little bit, kind of slowed down. A hub is developed to help with professional development and technical assistance with pre-K throughout the state. There is, in terms of the funding, the bill came in with out-year impacts. The amendments adopted by EEE actually make it only a 1-year impact in fiscal 26 of $5.6 million, and that's for a child care credential program. It initially came in with kind of permanent out-year funding. The amendments make it 1 year. They struck the Excel's participation bonus, which would have taken effect in 2029. So bottom line is in fiscal 25, MSD estimates $1 million to administer this, particularly in light of the creation of the career ladder. And then the 1 year for a child care credential program in fiscal 2026.
Questions? What's that? What was the vote in Triple?
Yeah, the vote was, I have it. I think it was 8-2. I had it in here, but I said it yesterday. Pretty sure it was 8-2. It's on my desk somewhere.
All's in favor? Opposed? Did you have a question, Sid? Okay. Reel it back.
Sorry. I just had a question about, Erica, about, was there an expansion in the public-private matter? Can you point me to the right direction?
Yep, absolutely. So that is taking place on page 7 of the bill. So initially by beginning last year, that there should have been private providers accounting for 30%. So this slows it down to 10%. And then it needs to increase through 2029, still ultimately reaching the 50-50 split, but by a delay of 2 years.
Okay. And no other changes
With
with private providers?
terms of the delivery system. I mean, there's other changes in here in terms of the qualification of the teacher, you know, all that kind of stuff. But in
Okay.
terms of the mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
So, once again, all's in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Right above that, 1426.
This is also out of EEE. Again, you have a reprint on your desk. We did briefly talk about this, I believe, and then it was put on hold.
Did we vote? We voted this.
Didn't vote it. It was put on hold.
Oh, the Senate bill, I mean.
Oh, correct. Senate bill did not. Oh, you did. I'm sorry. There was a Senate bill. There was a cross file. The previous one did not have a cross file. Senate bill 1102 is what you all voted in. That's the cross file. This has some differences, specifically. Well, it's all policy stuff that were differences that EEE made.
Okay, so they're gonna have to negotiate that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But how did we vote on the 1102,
So
do you know?
1102.
Okay.
Yeah, I know 1102 was unanimous on the floor. Oh, that's good. What you guys need to do to conform to actions in the BRFA though, and this is stuff that EEE did not do, is striking a lot of provisions that I briefly explained, but probably not very well, about some cross references, code revision effort that was taken up which shouldn't really be in here. That needs to be done during the summer, and they have nothing to do with this substantive part of the bill. So an amendment would be striking that. And also the conference committee decided that anything having to do with the implementation checkpoint on the blueprint, which was in this bill, was moved to the BRFA. And so those provisions are struck out of this bill to not duplicate.
All right, I think we know where this is. All those in favor? Opposed?
Oh, you know what? This is the bill that Triple E voted 9-2.
Mr. Chairman.
I don't have the vote sheet for 1441. What's the bill number? House Bill 1441. Did we get an email with the vote sheet?
We know I think she's thinking about exactly which bill had that 9-2 or 8-2.
Yeah, so 9-2 was definitely 1426 because that's where I wrote it down. We're looking for the vote sheet on 1441.
Okay, well, that's getting sorted out. What would you like to say, Senator?
I just wanted to ask Erica, this is the cross file of the bill that has or needs my one word amendment?
Correct. So thank you. On page 22 of the reprint. So with the House bill, with the Senate Bill 1102, the provision about the goal for apprenticeships, there was a word that was added that was not in this bill. So to conform
It's in
it,
here.
it would be in the reprint,
Yeah, it's here. Okay, good.
but it would be a B&T amendment. But it's there.
Great, thank you. That's all. I just want to triple check. Thank you.
No, that's cool.
All right. So on, do we vote this one? We did. Oh, did we get the, was it? Okay, you're fine with 1441. Did we vote? Yep, 1426. Got it. Okay. Let's go to 836. Which is also Senate 681. Is that right?
Yes,
And are they both in the same posture?
yes.
Okay.
So Senate Bill 681 and House Bill 836 requires the Maryland Department of Transportation to conduct an impact assessment for a major highway expansion project before the completion of the federal review and to do it early enough in the project planning stage to allow for the project alterations. The impact assessment must include an analysis and estimate of the project's quantitative net change in greenhouse gas emissions and vehicles miles traveled, and the impact on emissions and vehicles mile traveled. The first amendment changed you should have a reprint on your desk from yesterday. The First Amendment changed the amount of the project cost. It initially came in at a 10 million project cost. That was increased to 50 million or more. And it also establishes a work group to study major highway capacity expansion projects. The vote was 8-3.
Okay. Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Okay, we're gonna shift to another sheet when, well, I think it's on your desk. It's on mine. We'll talk about it one way or the other. These are bills for concern. Okay, I guess I have it. First one on there is Senate Bill 161. These are concurrences.
Senate Bill 161 is the one about the big community schools bill. The amendments that the House added, match the amendments that you all adopted on House Bill 200.
Move to concur.
Move to concur.
All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. 376.
376, this is one having to do with the Empowering the program that had some mandated funding for the Maryland Institute of Health Computing. The House adopted that, but then also added a provision that makes, there's a current law mandate that was going to expire for the University of Maryland Capital Region Medical Center. They made that mandate permanent.
Move to concur. All those in favor? Opposed? 574.
This concurrence removed the sunset provision on the aviation aircraft sales tax bill. And it extended the tax exemption for 5 years until 2030.
All those in favor? Opposed? All right, that's another unanimous. That was 574. 589.
589 is the SMATIC bill. The House removed the amendment that would have, they struck the language that would have authorized the governor to appropriate an amount of 5% of the amount allocated under the master settlement agreement. They left in the provision that increased the allocation the governor must make of $100,000.
Move to concur.
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? 747.
So this bill, so 747, this is the one having to do with the annual audit and the withholding of funds. They amended they amended the Senate bill to match the House bill as you all moved it. They came over differences, so it returns back to 2 years delinquent in order for the money to be withheld, which was always the Senate's position. And then the House also added the same technical amendment to make sure that the funds revert properly should they not ever file the thing. So now the two bills match.
Move to concur. All those in favor? Opposed? 1014.
Senate Bill 1014 was a procurement bill that was that requires each state procurement units to submit to GOSBA their procurement forecasts for procurements over $100,000. And then a reconciliation of their procurement forecasts to GOSBA by August 15th. The House amendments add uncodified provision adding a PIN for GOSBA to carry out the requirements of the bill.
Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Okay. 1080.
Senate Bill 1080, this is the bill with the Department of Health Unit G bargaining unit employees. The House did the same amendments that you all did to the cross-file House Bill 983, which strike that language that created that unintended fiscal consequence. So it puts both bills in the same posture.
Move to concur. All in favor? All right, a little more enthusiasm.
Aye.
There we go. It's Senator McCrae's bill. I mean, come on. Let's do this.
I've got
Senate Bill 491.
Thanks. You don't have this yet, but Appropriations has voted it. This is the cross file to House Bill 630. This is a pension bill from the Joint Committee dealing with transfers of service. You all had added on the additional language rectifying the issue with the contractual employees in the Department of Legislative Services. The House added the same amendments so that both bills will be in the same posture. So if you wanted to pre-concur, once it comes in, we can get that moving.
Okay. Move to concur. All those in favor? Opposed? Okay. That's it on that one. Did you check that? Senator Elf, did you check? Was I right about that? I'm pretty sure. Senator Hedelman?
At what point is it appropriate to pre-concur?
Well, we're just talking about that a little bit because we're talking about at least one bill that we know that's in Rules Committee, or we think that's in Rules Committee.
Hmm.
Yeah.
What bill would that be?
1472. House Bill 1472.
House Bill 1472. I have to look.
It's an exact cross to the bill we've already passed. Senate bill.
Yeah, I hear you. Maybe not quite yet.
I'm sure we'll figure that out.
Yeah.
What were you thinking about?
Senate Bill 370 is coming over in the same fashion as we passed the House bill.
I don't know what it is.
So, yeah, this is the bill that for community schools would set up the rental assistance program with DHCD. And you guys adopted the agreed upon amendments for the House bill a couple days ago. Triple E also voted it out, so it's actually can be on the floor today. The House bill and the Senate bill would match that.
This is the eviction money.
Correct.
Pretty good bill.
Pretty good bill.
Move to concur. All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Opposed?
Thank you.
Oh. Okay. What's that? Yeah. Okay. Let's go back here to all right. Let's go to the top of the page 2, House Bill 950.
House Bill 950 requires the governor to include in the annual budget an appropriation from the Transportation Trust Fund of at least $80,533,000 to the program for statewide operations. It's for lots. And the bill is not anticipated to affect transportation funding, the TTF expenditures, because the lots grant program typically gets more funding. It's basically there to set a floor.
Okay. And we have identical crossfile.
We do, it was in rules. I don't know. I didn't check to see if it moved yet, but it's
In the House,
11.
in House rules.
Senator Jackson's bill is in rules. It's in rules here.
The rules here. Okay. Obviously that one needs to move too. Senate Bill 1125. Okay, All in favor of House Bill 950? Aye.
Running out of steam.
I think, I know, it's the end of the session. All those opposed? Okay. So Senator Jackson, you have that bill. 1016.
All right, House Bill 1016. This is a local bill out of Frederick County. You do have a local letter. It just establishes a school construction master plan work group to make recommendations.
All those in favor? Opposed? Senator Bailey? All right, 1082.
1082. There are amendments on your desk. And as I mentioned with the previous bill, that amendment strikes references to the independent evaluation of the blueprint, which again will be in the BRFA. So what is remaining in the bill is a mandate for $150,000 for the salary and benefits for each county to provide an implementation coordinator. That mandate needs to be split between the state and the locals in the same way that the foundation program is, which equates to a 3.6 total, so 1.8 for the state.
Questions?
Yeah.
Senator Corman?
So it basically just moves it down, or it's just something with the timeline, right? It doesn't really change. The blueprint already had this implementation coordinator in there. It just changes the timeline and when they have to get them. Is that pretty much all?
It adds a mandate.
A mandate for the 150,000?
Mhm.
I thought that was already in. Okay,
Nope. Nope.
all right, thank you.
Set.
Coordinator is going to be shared by the county and the state.
Correct.
Thank you. Well, who determines how much is allocated?
What the share is? So what this does is it refers to, as you know, the foundation program, kind of the primary funding formula for K-12. That is a current shared based on wealth and things like that. So whatever the county share is for that program, that same share would be used for this money.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, all's in favor?
Aye,
Opposed?
that's a very important position.
Senator King? Excellent. 1390.
1390 has to do with school construction. I think I did walk through this and then it was held for some amendments. The reprint you have in front of you deals with those amendments. There were 3. The first one that I have here is really they're all towards the back. The first one is this act sets up a assessment and funding of school facilities work group. There's an amendment here to add to a member of that work group. It's on page 8 of the reprint. It would be one member who represents the trades that would be appointed by the Maryland State and DC AFL-CIO. The next amendment is on the back page of that. It would require the IAC to do a report on the eligibility for school construction funding for artificial intelligence weapon detection systems. And then the last amendment has to do with the Built to Learn Act. That's actually on page 2 of the bill. This is for certain projects that meet certain criteria, which are listed in the bill, that the state share for those would be 100%. But it would still be isolated just to the amount of money that that particular whatever qualifies for this under the Built to Learn. So it's not adding more money, it's just saying it's determining the use of that money.
Okay, Questions? All those in favor as amended? Opposed? Okay. Senator King? You're picking them up.
There.
Okay. 796.
This is another local bill out of Carroll County for their public facilities bonds. It's identical.
All's in favor? Opposed? Okay, Senator Bailey? $764. Why did this not come up? Yep. Okay. 764.
House Bill 764 makes technical changes to legislation enacted in 2022 and 2023 that authorize diversion of lottery funds for the two Baltimore stadiums to be used for development of the Blue Line Corridor. The bill also modifies the Blue Line Corridor Facility Fund. And the bill, as it came in, requires 27 million to be transferred annually in 2 installments from lottery to the fund, instead of requiring an amount of up to 27 million. It pretty much codifies existing practice. I have been working on amendments for this bill because the way that it came in from the House, there was an error in the dates, the fiscal dates, and it should have been in fiscal 25 versus fiscal 24. So the amendment will alter those dates to fiscal 25 as appropriate. And then there was also a requirement to pay these funds to MSA in November and November 1. And we're gonna have to work on something for that date to September 1 to change that, because MSA says they need the funds before that date.
Okay. Questions on this? All those in favor? Opposed? Who did 1116 before? Senate Bill 1116, same thing. Oh. Okay, why don't you do that? $689. Janine?
House Bill 689, you have reprints coming around for this bill. As amended, it repeals the electric vehicle excise tax credit and establishes an electric vehicle rebate program instead. A buyer is eligible for a rebate of $3,000 on an EV that costs $50,000 or less. MBA administers the rebate and must establish a website for the program, and the dealer provides the rebate to eligible buyers. MBA pays the rebate fund directly to the dealer instead of the buyer having to file for it as a tax credit on their taxes. There are amendments that was introduced by the sponsor, which is in your reprint. And there's an additional amendment to remove obsolete provisions that will not apply to MBA and make technical corrections to the bill.
Sarah?
Nothing for hybrid vehicles, just EVs, correct?
This is just for zero emission and fuel cell.
You've already bought your car. Any, yes, Senator Corman.
All right, so this was a credit before, right? How much of the credit got used before or that, like, all of it, right?
Always, yeah.
And quickly, right? That's what I thought. So is there any conversation with the 3,000 of making that difference and more people could utilize it?
I don't know. I can answer that.
Okay, start it out there.
Yep. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, Senator Alpha. All right, 243. Hello. Okay, I think we're gonna hold this. What else we got? Anything? Okay, good work. See you in a few minutes on the floor.